Wow, wow. I want vagina abs to stick. That sounds so awful.
Daddy, what's that?
Cyborg, I want to point out that you can't say the word wolf. You said night wolf before, and it's pissed me off ever since.
No beta code. I'm surprised.
Not bowing down to the con. That's a paddling.
Hey, Cyrax boy, guess what?
Who the fuck doesn't like Yoshi?
I don't like Yoshi.
What the fuck?
Yoshi.
How do we feel about Tremor? Because I gotta say this. I want to see him come.
Yes, but it's because I'm actually peeing in a bucket at the bottom of my seat. So, like,
Naitara's design.
You know, you're saying Naitara again.
Oh shit, thank you.
Just let go.
I'm on so many drugs at the moment.
Great. Glad to hear it.
Alright, well, I'm done being serious. We can talk about the taste of cock again. If that's what you guys want to.
Wait.
What?
This is my fucking ass hanging out. What, bitch?
Are we
Guys,
even
not
recording right
understand-
now?
We're not recording, of course not.
wondering.
Nobody's gonna listen to this.
I hear like the sound of like bullets being loaded into a chamber and like shots being fired.
Is it like an air gun? I don't.
I'm hearing like Russian roulette like right up next to the mic. What's going on? Yep. Definitely taking shots with a rifle.
Welcome back to the Nethercast. I am Cyborg, and I am joined, as always, by Senor Temp, Monsieur Shad, and Razor.
Wait, why does he get the French intro?
Episode
the French
82. Hey, if you haven't
got Monsieur,
heard by
that's-
now, let me crank up the jam. Or is that?
I mean, you
pump up?
guys got words that mean mister, and I just got a noise.
You got a French noise. Oh,
Is monsieur not French?
I guess, but yours sounded more French. Mine was just
It-
happened to be a
it did.
French word.
It did, didn't it? It's funny how that works.
You guys ruined everything.
It's all we know how to do.
I'm gonna pinch my nipples because of you. This is your fault. All right, let's move on. What I was gonna say is, if you haven't heard already, if you haven't caught the previous episodes, or you just don't care, well, I mean, that's up to you. That's your choice. You know what? You live your life. You do you. I'm not about that life personally. You know what I like? I like Discord. So go ahead and join the Discord channel. I know I said I'd put it in the description on the last video, which I think I failed to do, and I might forget to do it in this one too. But if you go onto the
Should we
Facebook,
remind you, if he fails, just type a comment out now, folks, and then just like paste it in the YouTubes, and then maybe we'll remember.
yeah, or if
We'll try.
Razor, Shad, or anybody else that's listening want to, throw the link there in the YouTube comments, feel free to do so. That would be awesome. We'll go
Okay.
ahead and
I'm
make-
making a note right now, but I've already forgotten what you said. Remind of the thing in the YouTubes.
just smash that keyboard, sir. We'll just
And
move along.
the-
All right.
Pudding pops.
So anyways, if
Okay.
you come onto the Discord that we have for the Nethercast, you can go ahead and listen live, which is fun. You can join the show there towards the end when we take, or we bring people on to talk with us about whatever the hell they want to talk about. It can be silly, it can be serious, whatever you want. And you can post questions that we'll answer towards the end of the show as well. So it's always a good time here on the Discord. Plus we have plenty of people commenting and talking about several things. We got a spoiler section, all that good stuff. Let's move on to the episode. So today we are finishing out our 4 parts series, and that's 4, the number 4, 4, 4, like, and shut the fuck up. Oh, there goes our monetization. All right, here we go.
Thanks for the $23.
Yeah.
It went towards an Ebo.
Yes.
It's going to good places.
Did you say Evo?
Ebo, not Evo.
What the hell's an Ebo?
An Ebo is a little vibrating instrument which you use on your
Oh,
guitar. And it
righty
makes-
then. We'll move
on your
right
guitar,
along.
on
We'll
your
move
guitar.
just
You
right
really,
along.
you're not gonna get to finish that.
I knew the risks when the word left my mouth beforehand even, and I just didn't care.
It wasn't the only thing leaving your mouth. All right. So we've had some laughs. We've had some fun. Anyways, what the hell was I even saying? Oh, yeah. Today on the 4th part of the 4-part series, we are going to be covering the last 2 games in the Mortal Kombat main line series, and that would be MK9 and MKX. There is a spider crawling down the wall right now. What do I do? What do I do? How about you guys take over, start with MK9, say something that you enjoyed while I throw this spider outside.
Sounds like a plan.
Or you can leave it alone. But sure, all right.
I don't know that I
So-
condone you letting it live, but do you? That's fine.
Monsters.
I like the happy compromise of catching it and releasing it. I think that's going to make everyone happy.
Yeah, but it can just come back in if you don't kill it. You have to punish them for their transgression.
It's going to die outside in the cold if he puts it out there. He is just as well killing it.
You put its head on a very tiny stick, send a message out there.
This
Like
is
a
the
poop
worst
stick.
part of Lord of the Flies. Just the worst.
Yeah.
Alrighty then, I have returned. So I
We got
used a
nothing
piece.
done.
I used a piece of paper to let the spider crawl onto, and then as it crawled, I mean, it's just a 9 by 11 piece of paper, so it only has so much
This
space.
is a spider. It's like a 9 by 11. Oh my god.
That's a hell of a
You
spider right
always-
there. It's only 9 by 11, Tim. Get over it. Anyway, so I used that sheet of paper, which
He
obviously
doesn't live in Australia.
there's only so much real estate for that spider to crawl on before I need to get it to go the other direction. So I found a nice technique to use was to just shake the paper back and forth, like side to side, and it would like crawl up into a ball, and it just rolled around on the paper as I made my way to the back door and hit the piece of paper to send it flying. I saved that spider's life, is what I'm
It's
getting at.
impressive.
How cold is it out there, DC?
It's been, and I mean today it's pretty cold. Let's look at the old weather, but I think we had like a record low over this past. I think it was like 3 or 4 or 5 days ago. It was -8, colder than it was in Antarctica.
The spider is basically the inmate from Ruapente. You understand that?
What?
In Star Trek 6,
I don't understand that.
They take-
I don't get that reference at
Not
all.
familiar with
It's-
this.
I get that reference.
Oh,
Ruapente.
the Undiscovered Country Star Trek 6. Yes, I do
Yeah.
now understand. I did not know it
It's
was
this
called
prison planet. It's this world full of frost and snow, and the guy's like, "There is no guard towers. Only magnetic shield prevents beaming," because he's like, space Russian.
Yeah, I got the voice. You did it splendidly.
Work well and you will be treated well. Punishment means exile to the surface. On the surface, nothing can survive, and they just throw a guy out there shirtless.
Are you going to do the whole movie?
The spider is that guy, is what I'm saying.
that. You have to pick one. That's
I
fine.
could.
Scene
I
one.
really could.
I've seen Star Trek 6. It's one of the, let's say,
Best
3.5
ones.
good ones of the original series movies.
To answer your question,
a
it's
little
eight,
harsh, but sure.
it's 8 degrees right now. It's gonna get down to 3. The spider
I
will be
hope they'll-
fine. Let's move
I
on.
hope they'll find a warm crevice or something.
He'll be all right. I mean, I could have just smashed him. I feel like that would be worse.
I thank you for not doing that, at least.
I mean, it's usually like I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. The only time I resort to
fair.
smashing is if like I start to lose him.
I smash him.
Like if I
Yeah,
go up to a
smash him
corner
because-
and I hit it and I try to like get it to go onto something and then it starts descending down. I'll usually try and snag the web and try to get him to drop into like a toilet. Then I'll flush it and wish him good luck.
That also kills them.
No, they're fine.
Yeah, drowning is not.
That's
Spiders
basically how
can
I
swim.
treat silverfish.
At least smashing is sudden. Like, blink
Would you
and it's
rather?
over.
Would you rather get smashed or would you rather freeze to death? I would rather freeze to death.
I'd rather be smashed.
Okay, noted.
I don't wanna
Noted.
Suffer slowly over a long period
Razor
of time.
prefers smashing. And when I say smashing, I mean smashing. Elijah. Nigel Thornby.
I think we're running on 10 minutes without discussing Mortal
But when are we
Kombat.
going to talk about Mortal Kombat?
Smashing. I'm Tim Curry. Okay, transvestite. All right, let's move on.
Wait, what? Okay.
It's Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Uh,
MK9, let's do it.
So, yeah. Best gameplay of the series or best gameplay of the series? That's the thing that I like the most about the game.
Is
mean,
that-
holy shit.
All right, that's simple enough.
You can't really go wrong with the series. Just the way this game feels and plays. You got the vast amount of people out there that say that MK10, despite having a run button, just didn't feel as good as 9 did, and it had that little unintentional blocking dash technique. There was just something immensely satisfying about all the gameplay in MK9. It's a hell of a fun game to play.
Yeah, I will jump in here at this point, Chad. Great analysis. I agree that it is the best gameplay of this. I don't know. That's tough. My favorite part about MK9 is the fact, I mean, it's kind of along the same as what you were saying. I don't know if it's my favorite of the series, but I definitely like it the most in terms of it returned to 2D combat. I do not like Mortal Kombat in 3D. Did I deal with it? Did I enjoy it at the time? Sure. I enjoy Deadly Alliance, Deception, etc. But we can all agree that the weakest part of those games was the gameplay.
It's part of the reason I think that 9 felt so very rewarding to me.
Yes, it was wonderful.
Like we said last time, DC was a step in the right direction, and to finally plug 9 in and like start playing a couple rounds here and there, and like you knew within the first fight or the first 2 fights you're having, oh my god, they finally nailed it. That feeling, MK is now a solid tourney-worthy fighter. All the fighters feel different. Like, it was where we'd wanted to go in terms of gameplay for the better part of a fucking decade, and it was marvelous. It was a marvelous feeling.
Absolutely. It was wonderful. So my favorite thing going down is returning to 2D. Like, if that to me just it re-energized and reinvigorated the whole franchise, and I would not want to go back. Razor, Temp, feel free to jump in.
I'll go ahead. Yeah, I mean the gameplay is definitely up there. I'm juggling between whether my favorite thing is the gameplay or the challenge tower. Cause there's just something about the challenge tower that like none of the other like mini game things in the other games have really captured right. Like you had like Star Labs somehow didn't have it, and the towers in MKX don't have it. It's those little mini games where it's like a horde of Tarkatans or zombies is coming at you, and you just, you know, spam the same special move over and over again, or like just all these little like conditions and things that you can't really do in a normal match. And there's something about some of those challenge tower missions that I really wish that they were part of a story mode, you know? Like, why can't there be a scene in the game where I'm fighting that horde of Tarkatans, you know? Like, that gameplay proves that you can do it. It could be a thing. So yeah, that's kind of where I fall on it.
What I appreciate the most about the challenge tower is the fact that it always tries to keep you in universe a little bit, and
Yeah.
it'll have fun with the characters and their personalities. Like you'll get like Johnny Cage losing all of his skin as a reference to meat, or you'll have like what Ermac's reaction to 3 Goros standing in front of him would really be. We do not think this is very fair.
Yeah, there's
little great moments like that.
There's little story and dialogue. Yeah. It's just like the conquest mode of Deadly Alliance, except that what follows isn't a boring training session.
This is true. It was just a lot of fun to play. Really rewarding. Even when it was unfair and hard, I couldn't put it down.
You know what?
I didn't feel like that about 10's towers at all for some reason.
And my favorite thing about it is that it'll let you, like, if you can't beat a mission, you can just buy it beaten. You can just spend some gold on it and be done with it. And it
never
won't,
did
like,
that shit. I
hold
ain't a
that
quitter.
against you.
No, I ain't a quitter. You know
yeah,
what?
It was hardcore.
No, but I like having the option. Like, I hate having a mode that I can't 100%. Like, if I can't get through it with skill, at least give me a bypass.
Speaking of the challenge, I did not know that if you press start and retry, that it stays difficult. I never knew that, like, the difficulty went down if you just, like, kept retrying, like, after you actually failed.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So I just beat my face into a brick wall for at least, like, 2 or 3 hours trying to beat the last mission against Shao Kahn, Melina, Goro, Kintaro, whatever the hell it was. I forgot it at this point.
It was like a fucking 4-person. It was like a 4-person endurance round. I remember it giving me a lot.
Yeah, it was Melina and all the bosses.
Yeah, and it
and for some reason I remember Melina was the fucking worst one.
I just remember using Jax because Jax you could use his little wave, whatever the hell they're called. Anyways, the ending of story mode was the exact same way, that if you kept retrying after you failed, it eventually would get easy. I never knew that because I kept pressing. I'd get impatient, and if I'm dead, I'm dead. I'd instantly press start and then press retry. It would not get easier if you did that. I never knew that was a thing. That's funny. Until I had already beaten my face into a brick wall. So,
Live and learn.
Fun fact.
You know, I figured out over the course of story mode that if you kept losing, the difficulty would lower. I didn't know that if you retried from the start menu, it wouldn't.
Yeah. Didn't even know it was a thing, because to me, like, other people were... I think I looked it up at some point, and somebody... Like, I noticed that they were acting a lot easier, and I'm like, why is it so easy for them? Like, why is the AI seemingly so easy for them? And then that's when I learned that. Anyways, Temp, what do you got?
I am going to have to agree about the gameplay stuff. The challenge tower is cool too, though. I beat the challenge tower final challenge with like half the cast. Like it really is a good endurance, exercise, just kind of getting your execution down and kind of capitalizing on opportunities and stuff like that. Just great combo practice. It's one reason why I like the multiverse, because just even though the goals are absolutely arbitrary, it's just combo practice for me. I really enjoy that. But the gameplay is so good, and it's not even just the fact that it's competitive that makes it so great. I mean, that by itself, if that's all they gave us, it would have been a masterpiece. But it's so interesting, and there's nothing like MK9 to this day or anything like it before it. It's like Tekken's neutral game and pressure combined with like Street Fighter's movement combined with like Marvel's air conversions. And conversions feel so good in that game. Like when someone jumps at you and you just jab them out of the air and go into like a 40% combo, nothing feels as good as that. And a lot of games can't have that because they don't have the aerial combat like Mortal Kombat does. Even in Street Fighter, the Street Fighter juggle system doesn't really allow for anything like that. So if you get an air conversion, all you can really do is kind of cancel into a super once you hit the ground, or you can kind of get some free pressure on knockdown. But Mortal Kombat, if you're good and you're skilled, and your mobility is solid, you can space your way into some cool shit, and you can really blow up some very good like aerial setups. It's really interesting how they designed that game. Not to mention characters I never thought would be competitive are now. I never thought Nightwolf would be in a competitive fighting game, and that's kind of the beauty of Mortal Kombat 9. Who are your favorite characters? Great, they're here. Play them in tournament now. And it just, to this day, I don't think there's anything like MK9 the way it feels. It's a shame about the bad stuff, which I'll get into later. But God, I can't praise the gameplay enough. I really do miss the game. I wish the bugs were gone. Actually, real quick, I'll try to make this short. They just released a patch for PC and potentially PS3 for Mortal Kombat 9 Tournament Edition that rebalances the game and takes out a lot of the broken resets. So we're actually going to play that locally in San Antonio soon.
Was that legit? This is from...
It's pirated. It's designed by a fan, so it's not legitimate technically, but it's legit in the sense that it works, and you can probably maybe play it online. I don't know. I haven't looked that far into it, but the balance looks interesting. I don't know if they fixed it. Honestly, the game looks like a new type of broken to me. Like Noob Saibot can combo out of his clone slide now. I'm like, why did you put that?
What the shit?
Game? But that is a thing now.
To be fair, people always did say Noob was low tier for some reason.
Part of it's his damage, part of it is his zoning just isn't very safe. Smoke can blow up Noob so bad, but another part is just his normals aren't that good in my opinion. He can't really get any pressure start. He has to zone it, his zoning's there. But that's all I got though. I'll save the bad stuff for when we do the worst.
Well, that's
I will say, as far as like gameplay, I did like running for me adds so much to MKX. Like the thing that bugs me about the gameplay in 9 is that jumping is the unsafest thing in the world, and I hate the dash. So I always jump, even though I know I'm gonna get blown up. It's just a bad
I love the fact that you can just jab someone out of the air and make their world fall apart. It's so satisfying to me.
It's
air
the
jabs,
absolute worst.
Yeah. Air jabs to me are kind of a traditional part of MK that I wouldn't want to live without.
I mean, I get it gameplay-wise. It's just that, like, from a logic standpoint, my leg is longer than your arm, so a jump kick should always win.
Well, fuck
Razor, you come at me, and I swear to God, I will, like, jab you in the ankles so hard you fly back a good 2 feet.
Like, how's that gonna stop my momentum? I'm still gonna crash India.
Every single MK punch is like that scene from Batman '89 where he just throws out the palm steel triangle fragment into the groin of the guy flipping toward him. They're all death punches, everyone.
Yeah, and that's actually an interesting segue to the worst part of MK9
Go
for
for
me.
it. Go for it. You nail it.
The balance. The balance in that game is just frustrating. Like
balance.
Love a good
I hope
Kenshi.
you like Cabal.
Love a good Kenshi.
I hope you like Cabal and fucking Cyrax, because that's the tournament.
Man,
Like,
100%
I often-
combos.
You know what? Like, one of the things I want to see happen in a hypothetical Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat is just like a Cabal versus Sagat match. Because every fucking game that either of these two people are in, they are the tier. It's all. It's all. So does Tiger Uppercut counter dash or what? I need to know. Tell me, guys. Come on.
It's hard, man.
I feel like you remember how Marvel vs. DC led into the Amalgam universe?
Yep.
I want that for MK and Street Fighter. And I want like hook sword genocide.
I mean, for me though, like the reason why I picked it as the worst is because that game was one patch away from being not perfect, but just extremely competitive. All they had to do was just take away the Incendiary Gas Blast, like get rid of Sonya's armor, give some, cooldown on Kenshi's everything, and just reduce some of the damage mobility on Kung Lao. That's really all they had to do. Oh, fix the bugs, obviously, but that game would have been amazing, and that nerfing the top 5 would have helped the bottom 5 so much. Nightwolf would have been fine, in my opinion. People complain about the character. He fucking would have been fine had he just fixed the top 5. Just take out all the S tiers and how can we forget Cyrax? Get rid of that fucking 100% bullshit, which would have been easy. Just increase damage scaling on his bombs. I don't know why that would have been. Anyway, one patch is all it would have taken, and that breaks my heart that game is going to kind of fall into obscurity. Not in terms of like fame or renown, but in terms of people playing it. And that game is never going to see a competitive scene really ever again, outside of like novelty tournaments at like GGA. So that's the most heartbreaking part of the game for me.
Games that don't get booted when their sequel comes out are so like it's really just Street Fighter 2 and Smash.
Yeah, and even Street Fighter 2 doesn't technically count because the player base kind of grew up, and there's just not a lot of people playing anymore. It's kind of in the novelty territory, but I mean, all those games that don't make it, it's always because of the balance, and MK9 was almost there. Like, Super Turbo came out in the 90s. Mortal Kombat 9 came out in 2011. I feel like with patching, they could have saved that game, and they could have saved that game easily, in my opinion. It would have still had the glitches, but I think time showed that we were okay with the glitches. We didn't like them, but we were ready to put up with them. But just all the fucking like 100% combos and Incendiary Gas Blast and Sonya's stupid armor, and God, Sonya was just so good overall. I hate that character so much, but
I'm really like I don't like Sonya as a character, so the fact that she keeps ending up in the top tier is just salt in the wound.
Man, God, don't get me started on Sonya. There's literally nothing good about that character. Like, nothing. I'll save that for another day, or better yet, listeners, ask me why I don't like Sonya, please.
Don't do it.
I will indulge you.
Hello, Temp. I am a listener, an avid fan of your work.
Your efforts will be
Good work.
wasted. I will immediately delete the questions. Anyways, somebody else move on to their least favorite part about 9.
All right. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. My least favorite thing about 9 is the story mode script. The end.
Well, Razor, I was just gonna let you talk for me, but fuck that fucking fuck, fuckity fuck, fookity packing, flippity ficking fucking bastard of a what were you thinking?
Don't you understand how things work now? Now we owe you 2 money. God damn it.
Bill Billy and the Clonosaurus would have been better than what we got.
I mean, I don't really feel the need to go into it because I've been
We have
doing
done it
so
so
for
many
7
times.
years.
We have done it so many times, and like, take a fucking reason from Raiden being written like an idiot to the entire purpose of the tournament being invalidated to things being changed for shock value.
I wrote,
MK9's
like,
script was fucking garbage.
I wrote like a 7-page manifesto of everything wrong in every chapter.
And the thing that bothers me is the fact that you had so many new people to the series for whom this is their first year skims, and they're like, wow, the story is amazing. Oh, you poor son of bitches. Never had or had.
Like, I guess I don't know. There are like these glimmers of hope, mostly in the first couple chapters where you're still in the MK1 tournament. And to be clear, like the execution wasn't bad. Like the camera angles and the voice acting, the production values. Like it's a good story mode. It's just not telling a good story.
It's a good story
That's
mode.
kind of how I feel. Yeah, that's
it's a
where
good
I
story
stand.
mode, I guess, if you're unfamiliar with the entirety of the history behind the Warriors, if you want to put it that way. Like, this wasn't an original story. This was a retelling of a story that had been told a lot better.
And I'll go on record, like, I think the original MK trilogy is one of the best conceived plots in the history of human fiction. That's why I like the Mortal Kombat series.
There is potential for, like, an epic of Tolkien-esque proportions handled by the right writers, with the material that John and Ed and everyone just kind of crapped out over a 20-year period. There was just so much wonderful things to work with, and so many novel concepts. And to just... I mean, welcome to everyone else who have entered that world. We're glad to have you, but gotta understand, folks, that shit killed a lot of what we love.
All right.
Oh, alcohol. You're never far when I'm talking about MK9's story.
I'll throw in mine. Mine was just the what you guys said. All right, let's move on to MKX.
All right.
Is it really? I didn't know you disliked. I knew you were unhappy with a lot of the story stuff, but I didn't know how.
No,
how
I
far
mean,
that rabbit hole went.
I didn't hate it as much as Shad and Razor and stuff, but when I was trying to think of my least fart. Oh,
it is definitely not the least fartiest storyline I have ever experienced. It might just be the fartiest.
A least favorite part of the game, I was struggling because, I mean, the game's really good. The gameplay's good. The challenge tower is good. The extras are good. The crypt is all right. The crypt was almost going to be my least favorite, but ultimately I decided on...
Yeah, I mean, there's actually nothing in the crypt worth having because of the art book.
Yeah,
there's nothing in the crypt worth having but the experience of being in the crypt. Now, whether or not you like jump scares, it's beside the point. To me, it was a lot of fun to actually navigate that thing and wondering when the fuck it was going to happen, keeping the sound off after the first 2 or 3 times.
I don't even know if I ever even experienced that thing, but yeah. I
just go on to YouTube.
I know, I've seen it on a video.
From, like, I experienced most of the crypt with the cover, with all but the corner of the screen covered.
The thing that gets me is...
That's hilarious.
The atmosphere of the crypt. Like, they did a really good job of making
You're a grown man.
places that kind of flowed together really well. Like the swamp area full of blood sacks. It's like, what the hell happened to the people who designed the crypt? Why couldn't they design more MKX stages, you know?
Yeah. So, I don't know.
That was Outworld to me.
I was bouncing back and forth between the crypt, but ultimately, I mean, I'm in agreement with you guys. The story just... I wasn't on board with some of the changes. It didn't offend me as much as you guys, because I'm not as into the lore. But at the same time, I acknowledge its problems. So when it comes to the entire game as a whole and the importance of certain things, the story was the biggest, thing that I would say the game had an issue with. But yeah, moving on to MKX. Favorite things about MKX. Jump in there. I can start, I guess. I went last. So
I mean, you're
sure.
still talking, so
Yeah.
why not?
All right, tough guy. All right, I'm taking my shirt off. What are you gonna do
That
now?
way.
What are you gonna do about it? All right, so my favorite thing about MKX, I was gonna say gameplay because the gameplay is a lot of fun. 50/50s aside, I do like the run, but ultimately, what I think MKX really did amazingly well, head and shoulders beyond the rest of the series, is I thought MKX had the best designs for the overall characters in the entire series. Not everyone's a winner. There are some issues that I had, but like Katana looks better than she ever did. Kung Lao, in a lot of ways, I feel like looks the best he ever did. So on and so forth. I could say that about several characters. I thought a lot of the characters looked better than they ever had before. So that's kind of where I'm at with the.
I will say, I don't have any
character
overt
designs.
complaints with any of the costume designs like I have in other games.
Like Sonya looks better. I don't know. They just Melina. I like a lot of her
Like-
outfits. I don't know. I just like
Like
they look
even
good.
the outfits I don't like are still okay. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I just think a lot of the returning characters and even some of the new characters, like I like Ferrator's design and Devora and Kotal Khan. It's like I thought just overall as a whole, it had the characters just looked really good. Their models, their outfits. I thought it was really inspired. Where otherwise, I thought they seemed to be running out of ideas. I thought before, but this gave me a little bit more faith.
Okay.
So
yeah.
that's where I'm at.
All right. I think mine is probably the gameplay. Like, I know you guys, at least some of you said you like 9 better than X. I think I like X the best.
Gameplay wise, I agree with you.
Because I gotta run, man. I gotta have the run.
I agree. I
That's
could
fair.
when it first
Also,
came out,
like, I
I could
know-
not even use the run. Like it just felt so foreign to me. But now that I acclimated to it, I never want to not have it. It feels so
Yeah.
natural. I'd much rather run than dash, I guess, is my thoughts.
And I know that when the game came out, I was down on variations, but they've grown on me over time, and now like I would totally be okay with like variations in 11.
It's because we had the the alternative of gear everything.
Yeah, we saw
that's
the
what did
reverse
it.
of
That's-
that.
I've learned my lesson. Injustice 2 showed me the error of my ways.
Yeah.
There are worse things than having too many options, and that's having even more too many options.
Exactly.
And having those options be unlocked at random.
And not having
Oh,
half their
fuck.
moveset actually be usable unless you want to have stats and all that other random crap.
And having
Yeah,
those
but
options
broken
be
gameplay.
pointless accoutrement.
Such a bad idea.
Yeah, not having the moves is my biggest reason for hating the gear system. I mean, I can deal with the monotony of it. I don't want to. I think it sucks, but I like the changing the appearance of the characters. That's really cool. But yeah, never take away moves from me. Never do that. Like I realize there are a lot of them are additional, but I mean like take Captain Cold's ice platforms. That's a really cool concept, but it's not in his base form, so it's
I
never
don't
going to
have
be
it.
seen.
I can't use it.
Yeah. So, anyways,
and the fact that the mode that turns off stats also turns those
what the hell
off?
are you tapping?
Who is cutting coke?
It does sound like it's like as Razor's talking, he's just creating a line.
Like I'm like, that's not keyboard clicking. That's not someone tapping their finger.
You can't
That
even.
specifically sounds like someone that's like got a credit card, has a line of
It's just
coke.
it's going from that to. Like what happened there,
Oh
man?
my
Could
God.
you not wait till after the episode to do that, like the rest of us?
I'm sorry, I'm very tired. I need this.
To be fair, bringing up MK9 story mode does do that to him. I understand it.
Jeez. Anyways, carry on.
Background noise aside.
Yeah, apparently.
What was I just saying? You totally.
I'm
distracted me and I lost
Batman.
my
Coke
train of
cutting.
thought.
I'm hearing a barking dog back there. Next to me, just like someone climbing up a fence, heavy breathing, gunshots.
Next thing we know, we're just gonna have Mojo pop in and say that I hate you for talking about whatever the hell you were talking about. I don't remember.
I
That
remember
was a long
I was
time
also
ago.
gonna say-
That was like 3 years ago.
I was also gonna say
Still in the memory
that
banks.
brutalities, like as a gameplay element, kind of a game changer. That needs to be permanent.
Brutalities were good.
That was such a welcome addition to the fucking fighting game system.
I'm sort of
Executed.
with Temp here that, I wouldn't mind it doesn't have to be permanent, like just get rid of fatalities, but give us maybe a mode where you turn fatalities off, like as like when you're creating custom matches online, you can turn the fatalities off and just have brutalities. I think that would be kind of cool and quick.
Yeah, that would save a lot of time. And it would also, if there was an online mode with that, I think it would bring in a better type of player, to be honest with you. Like, if you get teabagged in a mode without fatalities, I would just kind of have to laugh.
Oh, also, if you teabag in a match, then you should just instantly die. You brutality yourself.
I try to mention something like what gets me here about brutality specifically is kind of the poetic history behind it. Because I don't know if people really realized it, but like it has its roots in Killer Instinct, and Killer Instinct has its roots in Mortal Kombat. So what this was to me, looking at it and just seeing the genius of it, was Killer Instinct had these ultimates, right? Where like you could just try to execute this move that would instantly kill the guy. The problem with them was that like you could do that when their life bar was at danger. So like they'd be losing like an eighth of a bar. So by default, why wouldn't you go for the fucking ultimate if the guy was at danger, And MKX just did a wonderful job of taking this concept of killing a guy with the last possible hit and really making it so that it was the last possible hit.
I just love that there's not like a complicated button. Like I end the match with Liu Kang's low fireball, I burn their legs off.
Yeah.
It's that simple. That's the best thing.
Even if you weren't actually, killing them with it, it would be like the last hit of the round.
Right.
So nothing lost and just bonus flair. Wonderful.
Yeah. Like you can do them by accident. You don't have to do a complicated thing that could cause you to lose because you're trying to set shit up.
Like I imagine
like some of them like you do, but you don't have to.
All the casual players out there who like don't look at matches and like don't like look at fatality commands and shit. I can just see people like fucking around at a party and finishing off someone by accident with a low fireball or Melina's low roll and like the whole room going, "Oh my god, what the fuck's this?" That would be so wonderful to see, to experience, to be part of. Brutalities are a wonderful, wonderful fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, that was me.
All right. Wouldn't say that they're my absolute favorite thing about the game, though. I'm going to give that to the new cast. Because for the first fucking time, for a long, long time that I can remember, I have problems with absolutely... I'm sorry, dude. I've got no problems with any real member of the cast. Like, under the right circumstance... Wait, hang on. Okay, some problems, but... The thing is, I could take any one of these people back under the right circumstances. There's not a single character that I look at and I say, you're a failed excuse for a character. You belong in the trash with, like, I don't know, Cobra and every other red dragon and Jesus. Like, all those rejects. Like, I would take back Cassie, Jackie, Takeda, minus that fucking dive kick and the fucking staff of Raw. Thank you very much. God, I hate it. No, God, Kunjin. Man, I hated fighting Kunjin so much.
Yeah, it's good.
Fuck you, Kunjin. Fuck you. I want you back as a character, but oh god, fuck that dive kick shit. Takeda was not so bad after like the first week. We never got used to his shit. But yeah, all four of them, I'd take them back. Maybe one or two of them need some improvements. Not too shabby. Ferritor, I'm a huge fan. I know a lot of people don't feel that way, but I mean,
Ferritor is cool. It's just that because they gave him the Baraka story,
but
equivalent, I
could take some variation.
You're probably not going to see Ferritor in 11.
I've accepted that, but MK is always going to have grunts, and I wouldn't mind a grunt swap every now and then.
If you make somebody really cool, make them important too.
You can't have everything. And Devora was great. I know Temp was a huge fan of Devora.
Hell yeah.
Kotal Khan came from my first view of Kotal Khan. I'm like, who is this like green loser imposter with like his wannabe sword? And
that bears.
Yeah, I I was
Kotal
blown away by
Can.
just how much I like the guy.
Yeah, I never
And-
noticed you had an accent. When you said cool can, I was like, damn, that's super Canadian.
That's Chicago right there.
Kotal
Hey,
Can.
get the Kotal Cat over here.
I usually
Over
that's
there
the
by
thing.
the calf.
I say Shao Kahn. I've never said Shao Kahn. I don't know why I said Kotal Can. I think it was just
I mean, if you did, it
my
wouldn't be a
skin.
bad thing. I'd embrace it.
My girlfriend tells me that when I get really upset, I put on like a Liverpool accent. I sound like Lister from Red Dwarf.
Pecan?
It's a thing I slip into.
Pecan. I never noticed.
Never
So
picked up on that either.
and
Who can do
yeah,
it?
Aaron
Kotal
Black.
can.
Aaron Black is Jesus.
All
Aaron
right.
Yeah.
Black is Jesus. Okay.
Aaron is a keeper.
He's all
Aaron
right.
Black is like the best MK character in 15 fucking years. Thank you.
I don't know. For me though, the characters are not any better or worse than Deadly Alliance or Deception. Because
That's fair.
I like too many, and I know I'm in the minority, but I like too many of Deadly Alliance and Deception's new characters compared to like most people's opinions. Because and here's the thing, it's because I can see ways to fix them. Like, I kind of hate Jackie, but I can see ways to fix her, and that's how does that make her different than Cobra then?
Nah. Are you cutting stuff again?
There
You're
it
back
is.
at it again. Back at it again with the white vans and the Coke. The white vans and Coke.
No, but I guess
I think he
since
really
Deadly
did
Alliance is
just
fair.
die,
It's
though.
fair.
Oh,
I'm
no,
trying
he's
to
still there.
figure out what you guys are hearing, and
Yeah, I
You're
think
not hearing this.
I think you know. All right, the cat's out of the bag. You know.
all right.
Okay.
I mean, there are worse things to be known for.
You brought out the rice, didn't you?
And
You were up all night with cocaine. Up all night with
I understand the reference.
cocaine. Huh?
running around my brain.
Cocaine.
my
Alrighty then, let's move on. Who had things left to say about MKX?
Did we mention the fact that it actually made Tremor a viable character?
Yeah,
Because
that
that's
was a
where the cat
surprise,
mentioned
right?
Yeah, speaking of the good things about Trimmer, we're out of time. All right.
Although I'm still not convinced on Trimmer. Like, I don't dislike the. Although to be fair, I never disliked the character.
I'm with you, buddy.
He didn't win me over. I'm
He's-
still not sold.
I don't like him. I don't dislike him. I'm indifferent. He's just there.
Well, I was totally against another palette swap, and then he came in with this really original moveset, and I'm like, oh, they used imagination on this one. Fuck.
That's pretty much her stand-in. It took a character that I railed against on the 7 fucking years of MKO. Every third or fifth post of mine was, oh my god, just fuck Trevor. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Shut up, you same person who's probably now the same person advocating use of Chrome or whatever the hell you call that thing.
Time well
What?
spent.
Oh god, I could have learned so much guitar. Anyway,
I like his V vestment. Like, his ninja vestment was really smart and looks really good in my opinion. The design's fine. I think the design's cool. I just I still miss Scarlet, and Tremor is just Scarlet Part 2, and I don't think we're going to see him for a long, long time. So we'll see if I'm wrong about that. Oh yeah,
that'd be
but my
something.
favorite thing. Oh, what's up?
oh, wouldn't that be something? Fucking MK11 comes out, Tremor and Scarlet and starting roster. Never happened.
Would not be the first I've been wrong.
As long
Man,
as
have I been wrong since
they're
starting this
in
podcast.
there instead of the likes of Fujin, it was a choice well made.
Oh, dear.
I don't know about that.
Troll.
All right, what do you got, Temp? What's your favorite thing?
Variations by far. I love the idea that you can approach one character so many different ways. One of my biggest complaints about MK9 wasn't really a complaint, it's just the nature of the beast is if you want to play Sub-Zero, you have to play this turtley gameplay style, relying completely on your down four for offense, which is fine, but like you're gonna lose a lot of matchups that way. And I play a style that's very mid-rangey and offensive, so that didn't really help me out a lot. And I mean, a lot of people just mark characters off their list of playability because of the gameplay style, and the fact that you can change that or have at least another option really enriches the game to me. And I think this especially shined with things like I think Sub-Zero was a good example. Shinnok was a good example, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, not all variations were viable, but this was their first time doing it. Give the concept time. Let's see what they do.
It was a good start to something. I'll agree with you on that. The problem that I had with it, as we've discussed in the past, was the fact that it deprived us sometimes of things that, in my opinion, no right mind should a character be deprived of. I can't play Raiden if you're not going to give me a fucking teleport for a couple of variations. That's the thing. Like, do what Alpha 3 did. This is what I'm going at. Alpha 3 had those wonderful B-isms, X-isms, and like A-isms. And just as an example, he had Sagat. He had a Tiger Uppercut every time. But they managed to differentiate the Tiger Uppercut's properties between all three versions. I think that's what they should stick to as a template. Like in A-ism, it would hit 7 times. In X-ism, it had way better priority, but only hit twice, and did about a bit more damage, I think, than the A-ism. Stuff like that, you know? Like, keep the recognizability factor intact. Don't take away the shit that we know and love from the characters, but give them different ways to work with it. Same result.
I think taking away that teleport bore some really nice fruit, though. Like, in my opinion, Raiden's teleport has never been cooler than it has been in Displacer. Like, that is, like, the coolest shit. Like, the crazy
looks
stuff you can do with that teleport, like, the pressure, like, that was never possible in previous games. Like, that's the teleport done right. It's a shame, though, you lose all the cool Thunder God stuff. And the Thunder... Man, I remember Raiden's Evo trailer. I'm like, oh my god, this is the Raiden I've always wanted. They really did the whole Big Trouble Little China aesthetic, and I still think it looks so good. I lament not learning Raiden. I tried, but the cancels were a little too awkward for me. But I feel like now I'd be willing to put in the time. But
no,
yeah, just shut up.
You're not gonna do it.
You don't know that.
You won't.
It's almost time for 11.
Touch my shield.
Do it.
No, so yeah, I think the variations were tight, man. I mean, just there were so many things that just were just not possible before, and there was a lot. Like Sub-Zero, like Unbreakable is a cool variation. Like the ice armor is cool. I wish it looked a little better, but the concept is brilliant. Now, are all the variations viable? Not really, but that's okay. I don't necessarily play variations for competitive style. I play it to approach the game in a different way that's refreshing to me. With a game like MKX, thank God, because we'll get into that later, but like the problems I had with MKX were in many ways mitigated by the mitigations.
Who's left to go? Who's left to go for the positive? I think it's no one, so you might as well just kick it off.
Let's do it. The worst part of MKX is the 50-50s. That really hurt the game for me. Yeah, no surprises here. Just God, you put a run button. You give so many offensive options in terms of the neutral. And it's like, this is brilliant. You have a run button, you can start pressure from like 3/4 away from the screen. And when you get in, you can do a down 4. You can, do a jump in and try to cross them up. You can just stop and block. You can run in and right at sweep distance, you can just hold down and block for when the opponent tries to counter you. And if you block them, they're either punishable or you can start your pressure. It's brilliant. And then they completely shallow down the offense by creating this lottery ticket mentality. And the worst part about it is it's a system that doesn't favor everyone equally. A lot of characters had safe 50-50s, and a lot of characters did not. And those characters needed those 50-50s to win. So it's like, who's the victor here? Who really wins in this system? And it's just, even when you do succeed, this is probably the shittiest part of all. When you do win, you don't feel good about it because all you did was win in a game of rock, scissors, paper. Like, what? That doesn't feel good to me. Like, okay, I did a back 2 instead of a back 3 with Sub-Zero. Now you're losing 40% of your life. All I did was guess right. I didn't do anything. I didn't lab anything. I just guessed right. And that doesn't make for a good fighting game, in my opinion. So if I had to give one benefit to it, is that it made me learn non-50-50 characters. Well, no, let me rephrase that. It made me learn characters who had other options, which is Reptile. I've never loved Reptile more than I love him in MKX.
God, he's wonderful. He's a treat to play. Reptile is in this game.
I hope he's in every game till the end of time, not just Mortal Kombat, like everything. I want him in Bloody Roar. I want Reptile in everything now. He's so fun in MKX. He's by far the best part of that game, gameplay-wise. So yeah, that's the worst part of MKX for me, so I hand over the mic to someone else now.
I'll go next.
I always felt good when I won. But I don't lab as hard as you guys. My fighting style is like a barbarian. I just kind of go.
We were talking about that the other day. Me and Redmond were playing Tekken the other day. And we were thinking like, Razor is like the most unpredictable of the unpredictable. Like, if you're wondering, will he do it? The answer is yes, he'll do it. It's really hard to play Razor because you just never fucking know. But
Are you just in a constant click right now? Is that what's happening?
I might be clicking.
We're done here. We're done. All right.
Shut it down. Shut it
Mr.
down.
Mr. C95, you're now replacing Temp. Be ready. You got 20. Just kidding. All right. I'll go. I'll go next. I'll go next with the MKX least favorite part. So mine's not going to be a surprise either. Just like yours was your absolute hatred for variations. Just kidding. The 50-50s. Mine, even though the 50-50s annoyed the hell out of me as well, especially because Katana didn't have a good 50-50 like actual combo setup. It was basically, do I go low or do I do my overhead fan thing just for that damage? And that was it. That was my only choice.
Things. I was Melina. I sat back and I threw size at you.
That was fun.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The mind games were hilarious when I'd like trip somebody, overhead fan thing, trip somebody, overhead. Like, the mind games in themselves were hilarious, but not when somebody else can get me for like a full 40% combo with their mind games. And mind games only led to like either you take the 40 or you take only 12. It's up to you. Like, of course you're gonna block the one that's gonna be 40.
That shit was fun.
I really liked fighting your Katana because a lot of our matches actually kind of felt like upgraded MK2 matches.
They were very quick.
It was one of us on one end of the screen firing projectiles, going for fake outs, and it was not like 50-50s or mix-ups and shit. We had some good back and forth.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, MKX is... Like, I started enjoying MK9 when we would play together, all of us, but MKX is where I really fell in love with the competitive side of fighting games, in that, you know, playing sets with Temp, with Redman and Razor and all of them, the times we did play Shad, like, to me, those were a ton of fun. Like, I really, really, really enjoyed Katana, and the fact that I gravitated so much to her gameplay style. I mean, she instantly became, if not my favorite character, second favorite. So she definitely grew on me just from a gameplay standpoint. But anyways, getting to my least favorite part about the game, which had nothing to do with any of that, it is the roster choices. I know I beat that to death, so I'm not going to really talk about it much, but I wasn't thrilled. I was not thrilled with all the kids that were included. I was not thrilled with so many new characters all in one go, like 8 to me. I mean, they're a lot of them are quality, don't get me wrong, but 8 in one game, it's just, I know that's been done in the past with the MK games, but with as many characters as they have that people want to see back, I feel like now you shouldn't have more than, 2 to 4 introduced in a game at a time. I just felt like 8 was way too much, and overall, too many Special Forces characters, too many kids, too many, I felt, and their parents both, like one or the other is fine. And yeah, just overall, in a lot of exclusions that I thought were like, huh? How did this character not make it? I can put Cyrex aside, but there was just other characters that I thought would have been cool to include, and they just weren't.
I get why they did it, though. The sheer amount of presence for new people. Because you were coming off of MK9, and that was just Ultimate MK3.
Sure.
They probably felt starved for new blood.
I feel like if you look at where MKX sits in the timeline, it's obvious that after they rebooted, they were like, I wish we hadn't rebooted. I'd rather make a sequel.
Maybe.
To, like, where we were. Because it's like, they immediately jumped past, like, when Lee May was young, you know?
Yeah. They jumped back to basically where they were.
They retold 1992, and then they jumped to the present day.
Yeah, basically.
They knew they fucked up.
That's okay, but yeah, that's my most disappointing part. Gameplay aspects, like the 50-50s aside, which, yeah, does take away from it, but ultimately it was the roster that got me the most jaded about the game and most aggravated and frustrated with the game, was just the roster choices.
I feel like it's very important to put that in perspective of the marketing when we didn't know what this game was yet. I think it's really important to see. One of the reasons why I don't like the roster is just Well, I was really hoping for a game that was going to fill in the blanks of Lee May, Deception, Deadly Alliance, and they never really set the expectation. All the expectation they set was it's not zero, in referring to MK4's roster. There was a lot of crushed hopes going into this game, and I wanted so much, and maybe that was unrealistic, but good or bad, like you said, Cyborg, 8 characters was just too much. It doesn't matter how good they are.
The problem with it's not zero is that, okay, so Quan Chi and Shinnok.
Yeah.
Big
that was
fucking deal.
Yeah, oh god. Quan Chi especially, we just had him in a game, but I mean, like I said, I'm over it.
But yeah. All right. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, Tanya, DLC though.
Anyways.
And there it
Razor,
is.
Shad.
I'll go. I mean, I was kind of thinking roster 2, but honestly, if I really think about it, the thing that bothers me the most about this game is desaturated color palette. Like, the whole attempt to look more realistic, and by realistic, I mean PS2 era brown and bloom. And, like, the way it affects, like, the whole art style of how Outworld is presented, the fact that it's all deserts and jungles and not purple alien shit anymore. And so, yeah, just kind of, like, I like, going back to what we said about costume design, like, I still do like a lot of those, and, like, they rehabilitated a lot of characters who did not look great in 9, like Katana and Scorpion. But just the overall, like, the environments and everything, it's just too desaturated. I don't really like the art style overall. I want to go back to that, like, I constantly praise the brightly colored looks of MK2 and 3, you know?
Sure. I could see that, yeah.
So I guess that's where I fall on it, because otherwise I'd just be sitting here complaining about Jackie and no Fujin.
I will say, though, like, for how good the models looked, a big problem I had with MKX is you couldn't really see the characters in a lot of stages. Like,
It was a very dark game. I like it dark, but it was maybe a bit too dark at some points.
I think it needed to be dark, but they needed to make the colors pop more to stand out from the
contrast.
Dark. Yeah.
It needed darks, but it also needed bright shit standing in the dark.
I agree.
The Kotal Khan temple stage was like middle of the day, and it still felt like the sun was going down.
Yeah,
there's something off about it.
And the one stage we used the most, or the one I always picked, was the dock, and that was because that's where the characters looked the best.
Love the cove. It's covert. It's covert nothing to me.
I like the concept art of the cove even better than the actual cove, though, because there's more colors in it. There's like a ship being like bombarded in the background.
Exactly. It's the best
Netherrealm itself is probably my favorite stage. It's Netherrealm for me. Just the way that it looks like the castle floating in the background. Wonderfully executed.
I think Redman's favorite stage is the cove as well. Yes.
The Sky Temple would be my favorite stage if the rain didn't make it hard to see.
Yeah, that's a good one too. But yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. I think the brights are the brights and the darks are the darks, but there's not a whole lot of contrast in between. And contrast is important. But anyway, Shad, you are the only one left.
It's not gonna come as a surprise to anyone, man. It's the fucking guest characters.
Yeah, we did get 4 of them.
It was the first time when it really felt invasive to me, and I think that's one of the things that might have put me off playing as the game wore on. Where I was like, oh god, I mean, I was able to deal with it when it was like just Freddy Krueger and Kratos. I'm like, okay, fine, take your 2 pieces of pie and run. But as the DLC packs started coming out, it's like every single one of them had some asshole who I can't help but view as a walking commercial, and I couldn't take it. I just fucking couldn't.
I don't think anyone expected 2 in each pack.
They're commercials for stuff that wasn't coming out. Like, there isn't a Predator movie right now.
There was no Leatherface movie. Who asked for Leatherface? Ed asked for Leatherface. That was it. That's all it was.
And, like, they wouldn't bother me if they were just there, but, like, as many people, if not more, play them than play the MK characters, so I'm always fighting an alien.
One of the many reasons I won't go online anymore.
I mean, that's the reason why they keep doing this, because they
Like
sell so damn
Smokeman
well.
plays exclusively the guest characters.
He plays what's his name? Shinnok, but yeah, other than that, you're pretty much right.
Yeah, I guess I've seen him play Shinnok once or
but
twice.
Other than that,
maybe.
it's Jason and Leatherface.
I think, yeah, Smokeman's saying that he used to play Tremor. That's probably around the last time I stopped playing that game, was when he was using Tremor. Jesus Christ.
Tremor to me is like a guest character. I mean,
I want to see Tremor. Here's the
if
thing.
Mortal Kombat could have a guest character from Mortal Kombat, it's Tremor. I mean, that's what he is.
Yes,
He's a guest character from their own series.
I know the game sold better because of it. I have made this argument before. That does not mean I have to fucking like it.
I don't care how the game sells. Like, Deadly Alliance and Deception sold just fine for me.
All this reminds me of is the fact that the average consumer is a fucking dipshit who will buy anything. Once something is exposed to the mainstream, it becomes saturated with shit. And that is exactly what happened with MK9 and 10.
There is kind of a level where the better the game sells, the more it's like, normies get out,
And that's the hilarious thing, you know? Anyone who uses the phrase normie, I want to snap their fucking neck. But you are the normie now, all right?
Guess what?
Internet culture and gaming, it's now socially acceptable.
I do
Razor,
want to add.
Razor just said it. Do it.
I was joking.
Do it. He said it. You didn't clarify.
All right, come at me, bro.
Cut your last lines of coke, man. It's going down.
I would like to contribute to that. What made the MKX guest characters so shitty is that they were all extremely high tier. Alien won email. Let's not forget that.
Fucking Leatherface is broken. He has all kinds of unblockables.
He's really good. I don't think he's broken, but he's really strong and extremely underrated. The only reason we didn't see more Leatherface is because Jason and Alien were so good. Jason is the best footsie character in the game, in my opinion. Now,
hell yeah.
Yeah. So, oh god, if you'd gone back to Jason, dude, you would have had a blast. Like the character is fun to use, but the guest characters were so strong in that game.
When MK11 rolls around in that hype mode, I'm sure we'll go back and play some MKX. Maybe then.
I'll join you.
We're good.
As soon as you learn Raiden.
I know.
Actually,
I know
no.
Injustice,
I'm not agreeing
as
to that.
Injustice 2 was coming out, I had a bunch of you guys saying, "Play Injustice 1 with us," and I'm like, I hate that game. No.
Well, no, that one I would not go back and play.
Like, how about we all go back to MK9
that's
and learn
completely
Shiva
different.
as a joke?
MKX?
Nothing but Shiva matches for like 3 nights straight.
I'm pretty sure if you go back and play MKX leading to MK11, MKX still holds up. Injustice 1 did not hold up to Injustice 2. Injustice 2 blew Injustice 1 out of the water.
I'm not going to mention names, but someone kept asking me to play Injustice 1 a lot. And I kept telling Smokeman, there's no fucking way I'm going to play that game.
I was about to say, there's only 2 people that fit into that, and I could probably think of the one.
I was like, the walk speed is...
I swear to God, I'm not going to drink this beer. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's a game. That fucking online sucks. It's like the worst online mode in the last 10 years.
Injustice 1 did not hold up well. Anyways, that's MKX. So, and that's our series, kind of talking about all the favorite part and least favorite part of the games. It's not the last time we're going to talk about each game, of course, in our time to come. But for this specific series, the MK 25th anniversary and this 4-episode long running of it, that pretty much covers that. Now we will get to the questions here because we do have them kind of stacking up here. So starting off with Lando Mac, I for one love that NetherRealm added the variation system in MKX. For MK11, I personally would like to be cut down to 2 variations instead of 3 per character. I think that would help with creativity and also make it easier to add more characters to the default roster. What do you think? I agree. I agree that 2 variations is probably good.
I do not necessarily know that it would help with adding to the roster, but I do agree that 2 is a much more rounded number in terms of varying your fighting styles than 3. Because 3, like this goes back to Alpha, like Street Fighter Alpha 3. There is always going to be that 1 out of the 3 that no one fucking uses. There was always going to be one utterly useless one. There was I don't remember a single character in Alpha 3 who didn't have an ism that was that was not no good.
Right.
And I think that was, I mean, I can't say I kept up with MKX as much as I have a memory for all of that stuff back in the day, but I'm pretty sure that I remember a lot of people finding X or Y variation utterly goddamned useless. I know that Jesus. Which one of them? Melina had one that I absolutely never ever used. It
There's
was
Ravenous, Piercing, and Ethereal was my variation. That was my favorite.
I vacillated between Piercing 95% of the time and Ethereal another 5%. I never used Ravenous. It just wasn't for me.
I mean, I think there's a logic behind the 3 variations. It's just that it's like if there were only 2, they wouldn't have been able to explore some really cool ideas. It's just that those ideas didn't really pan out as well built. Like they could, like Duelist Liu Kang. Like I really think it's cool the idea that he can like switch between this holy light power or the demon power of like the Revenant. It's just that it was so hard to use.
Right.
And it didn't really stack up compared to the other 2. And it's just like, well, which one do you get rid of then? Because do you get rid of the creative one? Or do you get rid of the one that, like you could have combined Fiery Fist.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can consolidate these things into 2.
Yeah.
So that's my thought is you can add a couple more specials per variation, and then there you go.
I think at the
2.
very least, every character should have a variation geared towards offense or defense. Maybe not every character, but it's a nice.
Well, I think that's oversimplifying it because it's like if you look at what Melina does, can you really call Ethereal a defense variation?
Some characters are just made to be offensive, and some are just made to be defensive. But
yeah,
for a lot of the people, I think that it's just like it would be nice to have that kind of option, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on here. What is the hype check?
Look, I just wanted to throw in real quick. Just if you're going to do the offensive and defensive thing, it's going to be really hard to create a defensive variation for anyone because the run button is so strong.
Oh, I'm not saying absolutely everyone. I'm just thinking it's something to keep in mind. I think as kind of a potential focus in terms of how you want to set up your variations. It's not like an absolute.
If you look at how MK characters are built, there are just some guys whose special moves just plain aren't defensive. And really most of them are plain not defensive. The only character that comes to mind when I think of the word defensive is Sub-Zero. And that's only if you give him the clone or the shield.
And if you and if you did set everyone up to be offensive or defensive, what you have is called Samurai Showdown 3, and again, you have the problem of half the roster being useless.
Yeah, like you'd have to
how some characters are geared.
You'd have to invent new moves for most of the roster so that, and they'd all have to be the ice clone basically.
Well, that's why I put my vote on 3 variations, just because I don't necessarily think the point of variations. I wish the point of variations was stylistic diversity, but I think the real point is they want to put as many tools in the game as possible without breaking the characters. I think that was the real goal of variations. They wanted the characters to be able to do all these cool things, but kind of segment it so you don't have this complete characters running around creating chaos. So I still vote 3. That would be my option to pick. But that's my piece on that.
Okay, Snake Eyes asks, what is the hype check for Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z or whatever? Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
God, it's unfortunate. The hype is 0, even though I love Dragon Ball. I think the game looks extraordinarily good, and I think it's kind of the answer to those who won Marvel 3 instead of Marvel Infinite. I just can't buy any more fighting games. I'm playing Tekken and Marvel right now, and Soul Calibur is probably not that far off on the horizon. That's probably coming out next summer. There's no room on the palette anymore. I would love to play it, but I can't. I don't really want to give up any of the games I'm playing now, especially now I'm leveling up at Tekken and Marvel. Yeah, I so wanted to play it, but there's no time at all.
I think that I have reached simply a phase in my life where it's hard for me to get hyped up for anything that is not a Mortal Kombat game. This isn't talking about the quality of the games, it's just that my life has changed. I'm here because I love talking about MK, and I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. Some of you guys out there know that. So I am as reasonably excited for the Dragon Ball game I would have shat myself over repeatedly, drowned in my own poop for 10 years ago.
Damn.
Like, I will pick this up and I will have a lot of fun with it, but it's probably going to be offline, and I'm probably admittedly going to like play it for, I don't know, a month and a half. Then I'm just going to put it on the shelf because I've got other things to do this year, and Red Dead Redemption, Lord knows when that happens. Red Dead Redemption is the thing that I know that's coming this year that I'm really, really fucking hyped. And there is Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, hopefully getting it right to consider, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I find myself thinking about that and the Street Fighter collection more than DBZ Fighters, but I do want to give Fighters a good solid shot. Who knows? It might be just the thing I've always wanted. I loved playing the fuck out of Dragon Ball Fighters when I was way younger. Like Hyperdimension on a fucking ZNES with a 2-4 and good friends and good times. I spent a lot of Friday nights that way. So I will play it. I'll play the fuck out of it, hopefully. But it probably won't be for very long.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting it. I have friends who want to play it and stuff, and I do like Dragon Ball, but I don't know if I've ever liked Dragon Ball enough that I really cared about a video game of it. Like, I played a lot of Budokai when I was in college, but I don't know.
There's a lot of...
It's a thing that exists and it looks cool, and it, like, gameplay-wise, it looks good. It looks like a Guilty Gear with a roster I would actually give a shit about.
Yeah, like,
I like
this
Guilty
is it. I was at least a huge Guilty Gear fan. I still do that thing where I pick up the games intending to play them and I never fucking get around to it. I loved Guilty Gear, like, since the first one, like, before X. And
yeah, like, I never got into Guilty Gear. I never really played any of the anime fighters. Like, I always look at Guilty Gear and I'm like, oh, that's the one with the chick and the guitar and witch hat. She's kind of cool, but I don't...
That's actually my main. Yeah.
I'm a Venom guy myself. As a matter of fact, I actually have the Venom eye tattoo, the Venom eye design on his hair. That's tattooed on the back of my neck. That's how...
Really?
Yep. That's how huge a Guilty Gear fan I was at one point in my life. Gigantic. So, yeah. Just time moves on, things change, and there is still a part of my brain that goes, holy shit, this is like one of the dream games you would have burned for so many years ago. So on the strength of that, I'm going to give it a shot.
12 years old, I would have been nuts for this game.
Yeah.
I was nuts for this game, and just, I don't want to buy it.
You're right, there are too many fighting games right now. There's just too fucking many. Like, I really wanted to get KOF last year, and I didn't.
This is where I wanted us to be in 2001, but we just weren't.
And, like, I've completely bypassed Marvel. I don't give a fuck about Infinite at all. I feel nothing.
The only thing that would have gotten me to feel things for Infinite was Venom, and they fucked it up.
It just looks like shit to me, but let's move on. We don't have time to answer any more questions for tonight. We'll do...
We do if we can make it brief. Come on, how many have we got?
We got like 5 more.
I don't know if we can make it brief. We're not good at that.
No, we're not.
We can try. We can try. One more.
How about this? How about this? Well, what I was going to say is our next episode can be just all questions. We don't have any more topics we necessarily need to cover. None of these questions are time sensitive. Most of them are about MK11 and what we're wanting and hoping for and thoughts on stuff like that. So we can hit them there. So I still wanted to get some people on to talk to for this episode. So let's take a couple calls, if you will, if anybody's interested. So if you are interested, go ahead and post in the message to come on the show in that text channel. Go ahead and post the purple penis. I don't know what the hell it's called. Eggplant.
Whatever. We're not thinking it's an eggplant anymore. We're just gonna say it.
Give us the purple eggplant if you're interested.
Thanos reigns. Show us how.
So go ahead and post that in the questions or message to come on a show, whatever the hell it's called. If you're interested, if we don't get anybody, then we can maybe take one more question from the questions and we'll wrap it up. But if there is anybody interested, we could take 1 or 2. I'll give that a minute. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see what the next question was. See if we can knock out one more quickly.
I have faith. I believe we can.
I don't know, dude. I don't have that faith. But anyways, we'll do...
we have, Kolb's asked us, do you guys think they'll bring back variations to MK11 or try something new? If they do bring back variations, how do you want them to be handled? I mean, we kind of covered that. No.
Yeah, we did kind of cover it. I don't know what they do if they
I don't know
didn't
if we
do
covered that. I
variants.
have a lot to say about that, actually. Like,
Okay.
I would definitely like to talk about that next week. That's a big one.
All right, we'll hold on to that.
With her
Let's
being
see.
teased and things for 2 games now, do you think MK11 will at least introduce Throne out of Possessed Jade, or will it be left alone until the next game? This is
We
from
kind
the
of
Deb Standard, did
talked
we?
about that on the last episode.
I just one sentence. I really fucking hope so.
I look. You can't tease something for more than 2 in a row. You can't tease, and then in the 4th game finally do it. Now needs to be the time for Possessed Jade.
This is a tease that is now dating back like 7 years. I think it's about time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well,
guys
that.
asks,
Okay.
Costumes and finishers are added to the crypt. What else do you guys want to see in there? Eh?
I just want the Deadly Alliance crypt where there's like pictures that have lore in them and pictures that are jokes, like Quan Chi playing the sax and Goro on the drums. That
I want that, but I don't want the other half of the crypt, which is pictures of like the staff in Singapore cleaning the toilets.
I don't know that I need the whole cast and crew shit again.
You know what? Smokeman actually asks, he actually asks another question. Would you like your system to be implemented in MKX and equip different animations, like wind poses, X-rays, throws? Now, I don't know that I'd actually fucking throw in wind poses and X-rays. X-rays and like throws and gameplay mechanic stuff, but if you can give me stuff like extra wind poses and like voice tracks, stuff that like Street Fighter V makes you pay for or grind to get, and you throw that shit in the crypt, then yes, I am absolutely all for that. Oh my god, would I ever love to have a bunch of different wind poses? Because you know what? There's very seldom wind pose continuity in MK, and I've always thought that would actually kind of help to really form a character identity going down the years. How many times have we seen like Ryu put his fist in the air, or like Sagat fold his arms and laugh with a manly laugh? You know, there are specific wind poses that I associate with these characters so much, like Reptile's Ultimate MK3 double hand. What the fuck is he doing? Like thing. It just looks so utterly great, alien, and speaks to the end of the character.
Like I like where the wind poses go in most of the MK games, where it's like a guy might do a different pose, but it still tells you something about him. I would just say, like, okay, for example, in MK9, Johnny puts his hands on his hips instead of crosses his arms. That didn't need to be a thing. That he should have had the classic wind pose. Because there's really no difference emotionally between those two things. So just do the familiar one. But like a lot of Sub-Zero's wind poses are really like generic and lame. Like, oh, I shot ice at the screen, or I shot ice at the ground and there's icicles all around me now. Just do the thing from Deadly Alliance where he does the salute, like the Lin Kuei clan salute.
Like
that actually means something.
I'm looking up at like my drawer, like my platform of Mortal Kombat action figures right now, and I don't think I really understood till this moment just how much I consider the wind pose as a part of the character's identity. Because I've got like, looking at them right now, I've got MKX Katana in her MK2 wind pose. I've got like Shaolin Monk's sub with like his fist up in the air. I've got Shaolin Monk's Scorpion with his hands on his hips like it's MK2. Man, some of that shit should come back.
I'll tell you what. You know what I like? You know what I like is that when they did the classic fatalities for MKX, and they even kept like the straight camera angle and the wind pose from the old games. Like, I want more of that. As like, that's an optional thing. Like, I want them to have like a big elaborate cinematic wind pose as the default. And then I do want there to be a way to also see the classic wind pose.
Hell yeah. We have a Thanos cock.
Yeah. I was waiting for you guys to wrap up on that. Let's go ahead and bring him on. It is blah, 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 Mr. C. 95. How you doing, bud? What do you got to say, Mr. C? You just unmute yourself. You should be good. He's muted.
Can we unmute him?
I don't think we can manually unmute him not to be muted.
I'm trying and nothing's happening.
He has the ability to talk. He just has to unmute himself. So I mean, I don't know.
There it is.
Oh, wait, here we go.
Know?
Yep.
What's up? Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Not much, guys. I just want to add on to that discussion about the what, the
That's
fuck,
okay.
what
That's okay. You'll get it.
Hey, what do you got?
Don't
We'll talk
pressure
about
the man. Don't pressure the man.
No, cool. Take your time. You're good.
This is good.
Yeah, you guys are just previously talking about the
Win poses?
win poses and stuff like that. I think, especially what you guys were talking about Sub-Zero and his win poses, they've just been really generic and really dull for characters such as him, especially as someone who's supposed to be like the biggest guy next to Scorpion. I don't know if that's
like you can only freeze the screen and punch it so many times before it starts to get old, you know?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'm a Johnny Cage fan.
P represent, fucking A. I don't hear that enough these days. I like you.
Yeah, thank you.
You know what, Johnny Cage's win pose should be his old friendship. He should always like leave an autograph behind and walk off. That would be a great win pose.
Which is what they did in X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they actually do that?
I remember that.
Did they actually
I'm pretty
do
sure
that?
They did.
Did he have one post where he dropped an autograph and walked off?
I don't think he walked off.
Maybe because like I've
Was it? Was
No, he
that
just
his win
signed
pose or one of his finishers? I can't remember anymore.
It was Deadly Alliance, maybe?
I don't remember him having a win pose where he just fucking walked off with an autograph or had an
Well,
autograph.
I don't think he
Wasn't
walked
him?
off. I think he does sign an autograph and then like drop it on the floor and the camera closes up on the autograph. But
Smokeman says he signed it.
yeah.
Now, was that like only if you didn't kill the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like his regular ass win pose.
And he said, I'd frame that. Thank you, Smokeman. And that's why I'm not remembering this, because I can't let a fucking round pass without committing murder. Sitting here, we're talking about these great win poses, and I just murder. Ugh.
Yeah, like there's a lot of shit you don't get to see if you always do the fatality and brutality.
That's the thing, it wasn't always like that, man. We'd be able to, like, kill a dude, but he'd do the win pose anyway. But now, because...
Actually, so speaking of win poses, I play Liu Kang the most, so I see his a lot. He makes his animal like the big dragon, except out of fire. And I kind of like that, because it reminds me of like that time that Shang Tsung made the snake out of fire. Because he turned into a snake in 3, and then he made the snake out of fire in Deadly Alliance. So like, I want some consistent lore about animalities. That's what I'm saying.
I know you were going with that. Now I see. I was like,
I want to see them actually like canonize.
Reptile is a
Do
monkey.
these people make animals out of fire, or do they turn into the animals, or do they have the power to do both? Like, pick one and stick with it.
Well, what I was thought with the animalities is that either they should just have it around, or they should just get rid of it, because if you're not going to explain it mechanically, then why have it at all? Just for...
Well, yeah.
I've always maintained, man, it should be like Nightwolf and Liu Kang. That should be where it starts and ends.
My first rule would be not everybody can do them. There's no reason Cyrax should have the power to turn into a shark, or summon sharks, or make sharks out of energy. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit the character.
What if
Although
the
I do
shark
like
was
that
glowing
it should
green?
not be a universal mechanic. It should just be that some people can turn into or summon or make animals as part of their character's power set. And specify which characters those are, because clearly it makes sense for Nightwolf. He has the whole Spirit Wolf thing. It makes sense for Liu Kang. He turns into a dragon all the goddamn time.
Scorpion is a penguin.
Shut the fuck up.
Like, if I could summon a shark with Cyrax, I'd play that character more. Like, that would be fun.
Okay, admittedly, tell me you can't see this. It's MK3, right? They've all retreated to Nightwolf's native land. and he's advising them in his ancient mystic ways. And Johnny Cage, being the stupid white guy he is, what's my spirit animal? And Nightwolf walks up to him, puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "You are a kangaroo." And walks away.
So what you're asking for is the scene from Power Rangers the movie where Johnny Young Bosch goes, "I'm a frog."
Why not? Sure.
All right. Well, thanks for coming
okay
on,
with that.
Mr. C.
Yeah, appreciate it, dude.
Always appreciate
Yeah.
you listening and tuning in. And
Cheers, man.
Take care.
Love on you for coming. Listen to us.
Yep.
all right. Well, with that, it looks like we're free to wrap up the show. I still want to do the next episode as, taking questions probably more in depthly. So stack them up in the Discord for anybody that wants us to talk about something specific or something ridiculous, whatever the hell you want. And then hopefully we'll get some people on again. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. And yeah, see you next time. Happy 2018 and all that good stuff.
Happy New Year, folks.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Peace. And Happy New Year.
Don't sound so down, friend.
That's a good year. 18's a good number.
Yeah, I'm not so. Are you making Coke again? We were just about to end the show.
We're
I
all
really know what that sound is.
I don't know what you're hearing.